try to have some questions for him at the end as well.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ryan Morey, and my Capstone project is on the effect of psychology on the marketing industry. Persuasion serves an important function in a social society. If you're not successful in persuading others, you can miss out on job opportunities or have poor relationships or no relationships. If you are unaware of persuasion attempts, then you could be taken advantage of. My thesis is, you can manipulate someone by appealing to certain characteristics people might have. Marketing takes advantage of things like this in order to convince you to buy a product, and you have to be careful so you don't get taken advantage of. In their book titled Principles of Social Psychology, Lee Daffin and Carrie Lane from Washington State University list their 12 goals of persuasion. Here they are: obtaining information, obtaining some object, obtaining permission, getting someone to do a favor, changing someone's opinion, getting someone engaged in some activity, buying or selling something, changing an existing relationship, changing someone's personal habit, helping the persuader, helping a third party, getting someone to do something against self-interest. The consensus from all of these is that persuasion is used to achieve a certain goal. This image shows the 6 principles of persuasive marketing. This can be represented by the Enneagram steps. It starts with social currency, which means it has to have a value in society. People want to be cool, so your product has to be something valuable and make people want it. Secondly is triggers. This means your advertisements should be memorable and have people think about it. Thirdly is emotion, which is related to triggers. Your advertisement should evoke emotion that makes them feel something about your product. The next one is public. Your product should be widely available and you should spread your advertising out. After that is practical value. The product has to be of some use. Finally is stories. This is meant to humanize your company. I'll go into depth on these throughout my presentation. A subliminal message is a signal or message designed to pass below the normal limits of perception. For example, it might be inaudible to the conscious mind, but audible to the unconscious or deeper mind. Or might be an image transmitted briefly and unperceived consciously, and yet perceived unconsciously. Miracle. Essentially, this is saying that advertisements may have things in it that makes you want to buy that product. It uses things like emotion, colors, or even focuses on a certain personality type. One of the big roles in advertising is emotions. Using things like happiness, where they show smiling faces, like in the Coke ad, or sadness, like they use so effectively in ASPCA ads, where they show such sad-looking, malnourished dogs that make you feel so bad for them. They may even use humor to engage you in their advertisement and make you want to see more. Another emotion that advertising takes advantage of is fear. Advertisers can try to scare you to get you to do something, like stop texting and driving, like the image on the right, or even buy condoms, because like condom ads use fear so effectively, like to get you to like not want to have a kid, like this one. The goal of marketing is to create a positive image for your company/product. This is done by things like images that could contribute positively. Images and mascots are meant to be memorable and have a good effect on the consumer. The gecko is meant to make you think of a happy-looking gecko instead of a boring insurance company. Public image can be very important. You want a well-known product that everyone knows of. You want to have a recognizable image that you don't even need to advertise for because it's so huge, like Amazon, Starbucks, or Nike. Telling a story is a good way to humanize your product. Everyone knows the story of how Steve Jobs started his company in his garage, and he grew it so it became a globally known company. By telling how your brand started off so small, consumers will like it more. People like family businesses. People want to think they're similar to the people selling the product. People like familiarity. Colors play a huge role in advertising. Colors can be used to bring out emotions and make you want to buy a product more. It is important to match the colors to the image that you're trying to portray. Colors like black, white, and brown make the advertisement look more professional and make their advertisement seem more trustworthy. It evokes emotions like power, drama, and seriousness. Cool colors like blue and green and purple are meant to like have a good feeling on your advertisement. Blue creates a feeling of calmness and cleanliness. This is used effectively in advertisements for things like water ads or like the green washing like Courtney talked about, where the water looks so clean and delicious. Green can be used effectively in advertisements for health stores or smoothie bars because green gives the image of health. When used in something like a gift shop, purple can convince someone to buy more because purple has a feel of sophistication and wealth. Warm colors. Warm colors grab your attention. Red causes speed and passion. Orange can cause a sensation of warmth and even create the feeling of playfulness. Yellow causes happiness and cheerfulness, while pink makes consumers feel energetic and youthful. Polar Springs uses green and light blue to create a clean, healthy image, making their product of water bottles look better. McDonald's uses red and yellow to excite you and make you feel happiness. McDonald's really embraces this for their brand. Their image is that their food makes people happy. They even have something called the Happy Meal. The entire point of using colors in advertisements is to match the brand and portray the message that you want to. There are two different ways to appeal to somebody: emotional, like how I talked about, and through more informational persuasion. This is used in car ads where they have tons of information that they just throw at you, and like most people don't know what it means, but like someone who really likes cars, they will know what it means and they will want to buy the product. There are many different types of personalities which can help or hurt you in your efforts in persuasion. The first one is openness. People who are more open will be more likely to listen to what you have to say. This is very good in persuasion because like if you're talking to someone and they are very friendly and want to talk to you, then you can be more likely to persuade them. Conscientious people. Conscientious people are more careful and will make it hard for someone to persuade them. They'll think about everything you say, and if you mess up at least a little bit, they will be completely turned off from your product and not want to buy it. Extroversion versus introversion. Extroverted people will be more likely to talk to you. That makes it very easy. And the opposite is introversion. That makes it very difficult because they will not want to talk to you and completely ignore you. Agreeableness. This is a very good thing in persuasion. If someone's agreeable, then they'll just go along with what you say, and they will be more likely to buy your product. The last one is neuroticism. These people will be very hard to persuade because neuroticism is highlighted by things like sadness, depression, bad mood, irritability, anxiety, things like that. These people are not happy and will not want to talk to you and not want to think about what you're trying to sell them. The psychological side. Our brain creates something called heuristics, which is essentially shortcuts in our brain that makes things easier to process. This is why our brain creates links between things like colors and emotions, among other things. Marketers take advantage of this by using these subconscious messages in their ads in an attempt to get you to buy their product. An example of this is the halo effect. The halo effect is essentially what is beautiful is good. If you had to choose between a clean, well put together businessman or a gross, unkept man, who would you be more likely to do business with? The clean businessman. An example of this is, an example of this is the Carlsberg beer experiment. This was conducted in 2011 in a Belgian movie theater. An unsuspecting couple would walk in the theater and be faced with this decision. All but 2 of the 150 seats were already full. The twist is that the 148 already filled seats were taken by a bunch of rather rugged-looking and scary-looking male bikers. The couple has to choose. Do they sit down near the scary-looking bikers or leave? Most couples left because they don't want to sit with all these scary people. But the ones who did were rewarded with a free Carlsberg beer. People base their decisions on how you look. Like, if someone is very well put together, you'll be more likely to trust them. This is how someone like Ted Bundy was so successful, because he looks like he's a intelligent, well put together man, and girls were more prone to listen to him. My outside expert was Heidi McDonald. She's the school psychologist at Wells Road, and she's also the wife of Dr. McDonald, who works here. She also teaches classes at the University of Hartford. My conclusion, marketing is very complex and relies heavily on psychological relations. Marketers are very specific in how they plan out their advertisements. First, you need to understand who your audience is and how they can best persuade them. Is it better to try to persuade them with emotions or information? What personality do they have, and will they be likely to listen to you? What colors best match your products? Things like this are what marketers have to do to engage the heuristics in your brain to eventually have you buy their product. Any questions?
Well, I'm sure a lot of time and research goes into what most of these companies do to persuade you, but is there at some point where we can just get so gullible that they'll come up with anything and we'll just believe it?
Yeah, like they use things that like you just don't even think of. Like in some ads they use orange because it makes you feel hungry. Like it's just random. Anything else?
Is there any like one like specific advertising company that you like found most interesting this decade?
Polar Springs. I think they did a really good job because like they just use colors that make you look like, or make it look like nature, like, and it's just like right from a river. They just use like light blue and green that make it seem so clean. Anything else?
Do like any companies use the bandwagon effect where they're like, oh, everybody has this, everybody wants this. This is cool.
Yeah, like they want to like people want to have the next cool thing, and like that's how they try to advertise it, like #1 best-selling thing in the country or whatever, like stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just think about what's been happening in the last year with TikTok. You want to talk about bandwagon effect, right? I mean, people can literally post the stupidest thing, and suddenly hundreds of thousands of kids want to emulate it. They're like, oh, well, everybody's doing this, I should do this. Like, so that works, right?
Like it's all about trends. Like
yeah.
there's that one trend where people just destroy stuff in school and put like weird music over it, and like look at our
On
school.
TikTok,
Yeah.
right? Bandwagon.
Yeah.
So I mean, it works, and I think Ryan's point in his presentation is if we can become aware as consumers of the manipulative techniques that products might use, we'll be kind of more intelligent consumers and less likely to be tricked by them.
Exactly.
And kind of connects with Courtney's as well.
Mhm.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you very much.